Boom, 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 boom. Check one, check two. Let's go live. Why not? Let's go live. Let's go live today. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody loves Joe and her partner Kamala. It's full of love and joy. The party that I once knew. The Democrats, that is. Who are we? Who are you? Kamala says she's going to build a wall. I'm going to build a wall. Is Kamala Harris going to build a wall? What a cycle. What a crazy cycle. Yeah. Kamala Harris, good morning, everybody. Marcus Conte reporting on something I've never seen before in all of my time. Well, let's just wait till this thing kicks in. Give me a thumbs up if you could see me. Hare Krishna to Sedento. Thank you. Here we are. So I've never seen this before. Have you? Kamala Harris. Let me turn off the volume. Turn off the reverb. Kamala Harris has finally agreed to meet the press. Now, I don't know if that's really necessary. If you put it into perspective today, politicians are supposed to come out in front of major news people and give an interview. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with, major news outlets, but you have to go out there and you have to fucking talk to the people if you want them to vote for you. If the cheat isn't in already, you have to come out there and talk. So Kamala Harris has finally agreed to one interview with CNN. Dana Bash, who gave Trump a pretty good shake, without the lesbian attack or whatever, fucking Dana Bash, right? Without the CNN attack attached to that debate between Trump and Biden, Dana Bash did a pretty good job. So Dana Bash will lead the interview with Kamala Harris. But there's a big but in this, right? Kamala Harris is going to do one interview, and guess what? She's bringing a friend with her. I'm going to bring a friend. It's like bringing your companion dog on the plane, right? The dog sits there, and if you get too close, the dog stands up and barks, right? And so that attack dog or whatever, service dog, is Tim Walz, who's very articulate, who is very solid on the issues. Is Kamala Harris going to use Tim Walz as a broadcast for her perceived policy? See, I never said it, right? Tim Walz can say, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do the other thing. And in a year from now, if Kamala Harris should win and you roll that tape back, you'll find that Kamala Harris didn't say shit about what she's going to do. I don't know. Tim Walz, he was saying some garbage. Tim Walz in a year from now will be in the doghouse. Tim Walz, if he's elected, if Kamala Harris is elected, Tim Walz will be conveniently stored away in the vice presidential fucking mansion where Kamala Harris lives right now. And that'll be the end of him, right? If he loses, then he just goes back to Minnesota. But there's going to be an interview. He's the governor of Minnesota, not too shabby. He's going to go. The interview is going to go down tomorrow night, Thursday. Should be significant. There's a lot of hype around it. Will Dana Bash ask real questions like, what did you do at the border? Why did you oversee? These are the questions I was asked. Why did you? How do you explain being the vice president through two of the craziest interventionist wars in American history, Ukraine and Gaza, where millions of people died and the United States funded it, both of them, How do you handle that question? Or why did you agree with Fauci to force vaccines on people that didn't need them or want them or couldn't tolerate them for religious and health reasons? That's another one. National lockdowns, masks 6 feet away. Remember, Kamala Harris is the administration of those events. She doesn't break away from them. She is them. She is the establishment, especially when you say that you can't defend these things. Then if she's not going to come out and defend any of this, then it's business as usual. Crises at the border, epic, right? Epic. A million people flood into the country illegally, diluting the workforce, diluting the diluting the fucking community with potentially violent people. Look, anybody who's poor can become violent. Not every poor person becomes violent, but there is a propensity for people who are starving in the fucking street and their kids are starving to go and try to steal a loaf of bread or something bigger. So they're distorted views on sex and race and skin color and equanimity and equality and equilibrium, and they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. All people are created equal. No. Blacks are this and whites are that, and Hispanics are another group of people, and those Asians over there and the Indians. That's the Democrats doing that, right? It's a party that I don't recognize anymore. Massive inflation, and the big one is the censorship, right? All of this has occurred in Kamala Harris's tenure as vice president of the United States under Joe Biden. Now, you could say, well, Joe Biden was driving and I was just in the passenger seat, and that's the way politics are. And not acceptable. Not acceptable. It means that you are you're a knocked down, fall down fucking drunk. You just lay down when the shit gets, when things get rough, you go silent. That's not a leader. So we'll look at these stories. Robert F. Kennedy sat down with Tucker Carlson. I want to play some of that, which was fascinating. He did he really just got out of the way, right? Why doesn't Kamala Harris go on Tucker Carlson's show? And Tucker Carlson will let her talk, right? Tucker Carlson will let her talk, right? Just find Dana Bash. This interview is I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a presidential candidate bring along somebody, even if it's the vice presidential candidate, when invited to an interview, and bring along somebody else to the interview. Why? As a bump, remember when there's one person, it's one person, or it's a half a person. When there's two people, it's like five, right? You're playing against a team, right? Is that how the presidency is going to run? Is the presidency really going to run like a team event? Are you fucking kidding me? No way. Kamala Harris, the moment, if elected, the moment she gets in there, she's going to flex her fucking pantsuit muscle, and Tim Walz is going to disappear. And the neocon fucking establishment that we know is going to, it's just business as usual. The censorship will continue. If there should be another pandemic, all the masks will come back, the distancing will come back, the lockdowns will come back, the forcing people to get vaccines will come back. The crises at the border will continue. The fucking distorted views of sexuality and race will continue. Inflation will, I don't know, that's a tough call. Inflation will likely stabilize or come down over time, but Robert F. Kennedy says the biggest problem with Kamala Harris is the censorship, is silencing other people's voices, and that right there really is a clean break away from the Democratic Party that I once knew, that I once sort of supported, considered myself, I think I lean more Democrat. The Democrats made more sense to me 20 years ago, 15 years ago as a kid. growing up in New York. Trump, too. I mean, rightfully, the Democratic Party was the party of Trump. Trump was a Democrat. He was a New York Democrat for years and years, and most of us were. But the party that is happening now is a really, really, really different party. Both Democrats and Republican parties they're in a deep state of change right now. You almost can't identify it. You look at the Republicans and you say, well, wait a second. They just took on Robert F. Kennedy Jr., an environmentalist, screaming about good food and clean water for kids and environmental issues and stopping the censorship and investigating fucking assassination attempts. And that's the Republican Party. That's who Trump. That's the Republican Party of Trump. People like Vivek Ramaswamy, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, right, all the mouthpieces. J.D. Vance, right? Matt Gaetz. There's so many of them. Right? So that's where we're at right now. There's an incredible shift in politics right now. It's almost unidentifiable. It does look like, for whatever reason, if it's still a honeymoon, Kamala Harris's strategy of avoiding the mainstream media per se, and playing this joyful savior. That's how Democrats see themselves. They see themselves as the doers, the doers of right and righteousness. I'm a Democrat. I'm for the good. Those Republicans, they're for everything that's bad in the world. Aren't they? And they see themselves as the white shoe, even while people are being forced to take a drug or forced to be silent online, right? The media censorship, or being forced to say in a work setting that I am a white racist. I'm white, and because I'm white, I'm racist. I think these sorts of things are fucking crazy. Right? And that's who the Democratic Party has become. So if you still align yourself with that party, and it doesn't mean you're not American. It doesn't mean that you're not going to vote. It doesn't mean that you're somehow a defector or some other vile fucking term someone can give you for not supporting that party. You just have common sense. It has occurred to you that this is no longer the party of my people, of my view. They don't represent my view. They're super war. They're super fucking censor. War and censorship right there. Right? So we'll look at these. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody in the house. Miss T-Rex is here. Fear porn in the house. Dent. What's up, brother? Cass Philly Camden, how you doing? David Brown in the house. Kim Wood. Tetragramma Ghost. Grammaton Ghost. I want to get your name right. Tetragrammaton Ghost. Good morning. Vandaloo. Weevil Girl is in the house. Weevil Girl, the trusted wrench, is here. And great contributor to our program. Eternal Fidelity, Zutsu Kuda, everybody else, thank you for joining me. My name is Marcus Conte. I have a website. This is my thumbnail today. Kamala Harris, she's scared. She's running scared. She's fearful. She's trying to change the dynamic. I'm just changing the energy of the meeting. I'm changing everything by bringing someone along with me. A white man, and to diffuse my blackness. And we're going to play patty cake with Dana Bash. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be tomorrow night. The interview is going to be a three-way patty cake. Oh, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and Dana Bash playing patty cake at the table, right? And the fascinating part about it is that I've never seen is it's not a live interview. Right? Most interviews are clipped a little bit, but this one is totally baked. This one is pre-screened questions and then a screening session and then an edit. So even if this interview goes off, you can guarantee it's going to try to make Kamala Harris look good. There'll be no word salad. There'll be no gaffes. There'll be no, major mistakes. They'll be scrubbed. and removed. Right? They'll be removed from the interview, and what you'll see is the watered down version of what CNN and Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have agreed to show you. Right? That's not journalism. That's not revealing. It's revealing in the sense that this is how she'll govern. Right? Remember, how Kamala Harris acts now, her actions, her interactions with the media, her interactions with the American people, her interactions with other foreign leaders is how she will govern. That's you're seeing how she's going to govern. It's not going to be no fucking surprise. She's going to hide. She's going to run away and govern from afar. It seems, because she's not confronting any of this. She said something about Trump. I will not cater to dictators like Putin and Kim Jong-un. Trump's visit to North Korea and to shake Kim Jong-un's hand, for whatever reason, was so historical and so inspiring to the world that an American president can go to the hermit culture of North Korea and put a smile on this guy's face. And Kim Jong-un was excited to meet him, and Trump was excited to meet Kim Jong-un. How dare you denigrate that American history? And again, it shows you how Kamala Harris would govern. She would continue to vilify Kim Jong-un and such, and keep him at a distance, forcing him to get stronger and stronger in his hermit society. Right? So that is how Kamala Harris will govern, and there's no doubt about it. So I have a website, Mark Visconti, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 big days a week. Eastern Time, right here in the United States of America. It might change going forward, but right now that's all I can swing. I might add some other stuff going forward. I'm not really sure how to do that right now, but I will figure it out. I'm actually doing a running video. I want to make a video of training, how humans can train themselves to greatness. And by greatness, I don't mean how fast you can run, but the measure of greatness is how good you feel when you do it, and after you do it, and during and such. That's what exercise and meditation is all about. It's not about later. It's about right now. How do I feel right now? And so thank you all for joining me. Here's Obama. New Donald Trump commercial. Check it out.
4 more years of bluster.
There we go. What is this? What?
Trump just used Obama's DNC speech for a campaign ad.
We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
That's a brilliant commercial right there. Trump uses everything Obama says, and you know who he's talking about. Right?
Trump just used Obama's DNC speech for a campaign ad.
We do not need 4 more years
Nope.
of bluster and bumbling and chaos. We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Yes, I know we are. This is brilliant right here. I'm going to play this, but it's set to, you can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a walking man. No time to talk. It's set to the Bee Gees. I'll give you a click of it, but I can't play it. Staying alive. That's what it is. Staying alive. What a great fucking video. Look at this. Somebody put a lot of time into this. Trump, Elon Musk, and now the great R.F. Kennedy Jr. rising. R.F. Kennedy Jr. is rising in popularity, is rising in American notoriety. He the Ross Perot, if you're old enough to remember and or historical enough to remember, Ross Perot was the only independent candidate that ever came even close to the presidency. He was up there around 40% the population at the time. He had a 40% approval rating, or he was getting 40% of the vote. But Robert F. Kennedy, the Democrats and Republicans found a way to stop Robert F. Kennedy from that happening, and so he essentially had there was no shot to the White House unless you were Ross Perot and you had, I don't know, $50 million to throw at it. I don't think RFK has $50 million to throw at it. But anyway, great fucking piece right there. So here's Tulsi Gabbard. Everybody. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. Who else? There's others happening. There's Tulsi.
But no, she's a special person.
Everybody's running to Trump's side. Everybody is running to the side of the Trumps, the good people, and fascinatingly, people that don't pay attention or don't even know really who Robert F. Kennedy is, Jr. is, or Tulsi Gabbard, when they hear these names, they don't even know them, because these people are not played on their television, right? It's like Cornel West. A lot of people have no idea who Cornel West is or Jill Stein is. They just see the name West Stein. They don't know who these people are, or RFK Jr. Right? They don't know who they are. And if they did, I think they would have a different opinion. They have no access to them because of the way the mainstream media boxes them out. And it's like, so it's Trump introducing the great Tulsi Gabbard.
Got great common sense, great spirit. She loves our country, and she loves the people in this room. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, please.
Did you ever think you would see this day? Look at this. Yesterday, RFK. Now it's Tulsi. There she is.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Tulsi.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I know we got Hawaii in the house here. There we go. It is a privilege to be here with all of you, my brothers and sisters in uniform, especially on this day of all days. I had the privilege of joining President Trump this morning at Arlington Cemetery, where he joined two Gold Star families and loved ones of Staff Sergeant Hoover and Sergeant G, both of whom were two of the 13 killed in the Abbey Gate attack 3 years ago today in Kabul. And I can tell you, as we were there, as he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Speed it up, Tulsi. Say something else. I didn't listen to this. I'm sorry.
Hey, Arizona. Hey, America. I'm here with one of the greatest fighters in our whole country, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Next time.
As those of you who were deployed during that time know, it was the height of the war, and sadly, we took many casualties. And every day.
So there's Tulsi Gabbard speaking to the war veterans. That's a big endorsement. She's pretty good. She can bring the fire and brimstone sometimes. So here's the details of this. Kamala Harris to give first interview as presidential candidate Thursday, but it will be a joint appearance. Fucking joint appearance. They smoke a joint together. Vice President Kamala Harris will give her first interview as the Democratic presidential nominee Thursday. It's fucking 50 days, weeks ago that she was announced. In a high-stakes test of her ability to defend her record and policies after weeks of avoiding such an exchange. Harris, 59, won't be on her own, with CNN promoting it as a joint interview. That's what they're going to do. They're going to sit there and smoke a joint and play patty cake. Right? That's how this interview is going to go. And then the brilliant fucking computer people are going to slice it and dice it. The brilliant editing team at CNN that can turn anything, anybody into anything with their editing are going to turn Kamala Harris and Tim Walz into a saint. No pressure. It's all going to be deleted. Right? And Dana Bash is probably going to be inconsequential in the event. She's just going to throw softballs at them. That's what I predict. She'll throw these softballs, pre-planned softballs. Harris will push back with her pre-planned answer, and Tim Walz will step in to reinforce her pre-planned answer. And that's what you're going to hear. And if there's any there'll be no pushback after that. There'll be no follow-ups. If there are, those will be chopped from the equation. You won't even hear them. Right? So we're going to get this watered-down version of an interview called a joint interview for the first time. People are anxious, excited, and or interested to hear what Kamala Harris, has to say. It seems, again, inside the Democratic Party, they don't fucking care anymore. That's the scary part of the core, the center of the Democratic Party. They don't care about these issues of climate. Well, they care about climate, but in a stupid way. Their idea of climate is to, give large corporations even more and more money to investigate carbon emissions. Right? Trillions of dollars are spent on these projects that never amount to anything. It just taxes the American people even more, right? And Green New Deal, right? But do something that actually matters, like I don't know, like what Tim Walz did. Give free lunch to kids is a good idea. How else do you effectively manage the environment? I don't really know the answer to that. I think, look, this is what I think about. This is what I think about the environment. I'll say this. So the environment, right? We have this environment, right? The idea that humans are not causing the fucking havoc that we see on Earth is short-sighted at best. The human species has infiltrated the planet. Look at the planet. Look at how many humans there are, and the waste, the sheer waste. There are fucking entire acres of floating garbage in the ocean from humans. There are entire parts of the sea that are unlivable for species. So many of the species on Earth have been extinguished. The 60% of the Earth's surface has been inhabited by humans, meaning that in some way we've crisscrossed nature. The littlest move in nature changes the environment. It changes the ecosystem. If you chop a tree down, the ecosystem there changes. Humans have done more of this than any species that we see. That we see in modern history. Right? We're causing it now. It's likely that the dinosaurs ate a fucking hole in the earth and ate everything, and there was nothing left, and everybody starved. But we're in a different time right now. To say that humans are not the human waste, human consumption is not causing parts of the problem of the environment is ridiculous. Is outrageous to even to not see that. So it's blind. It's short-sighted to not see that. Right? And I think most people, but the problem is, what is the solution to it? How do you stop people from consuming? Because if you say, use less electricity or use less gas, and then there'll be those who'll say, look, they're trying to make us live less, right? Take less and be happy while the elites are flying around in luxury planes. It's a tricky situation, right? How do you consume less? Right? How do you not use plastic, for example? I use plastic garbage bags all the time, and with full knowledge that they're going to go into the landfill and be there for a fucking 200 years. But I still use them because that's all there is, right? What am I going to do? Use paper, fine paper bags, and I don't know. See, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I don't know the answer to the climate. So anyway, get back to the point. This is Dana Bash, and so this is what we can expect. This is what we can expect tomorrow night. The big interview is coming. The big interview is coming. Network anchor Dana Bash will conduct the interview, set to air at 9 p.m. in Georgia. 9 p.m. Why so late? In Georgia, where Harris and Walz will be engaged in a bus tour of the battleground state. Harris hasn't given an interview since President Biden dropped out of the campaign on July 21. We're more than a month. That was a month ago. The Veep's evasion has allowed for a 6-week honeymoon phase. Is she experiencing the honeymoon phase of soft coverage that has seen Harris rise in the polls against GOP nominee Donald Trump? Well, if you're getting a honeymoon, if you're in this phase of soft coverage, if you're Kamala Harris, why would you change that? Why would you change that at all? Why wouldn't you just keep doing it? Right? Why wouldn't you just keep doing what you're doing? Don't fix it if it isn't broken. So she may not be that stupid. Let's see, bashing Dana Bash. I thought her and Jake Tapper gave a fair shake to Trump when he took on Biden, and one of the most historical debates in presidential history, where Trump, knocked Joe Biden out in one punch. Dana Bash was the referee there, and they let the fighters fight. Right? That's what you're supposed to do. Harris says, we don't want to hear what CNN has to say about anything. Right? That's the problem, Dana Bash and Jake Tapper. Nobody cares about what CNN thinks and says, because we know what you think and say. It's coming directly from CIA and governmental influence. That's who influences you. That's why you are there, because you're bought and paid for, and you shut the hell up and you do as you're told. And you don't deviate from the orthodoxy. Stay on point. Harris has had a long career in public eye, so fuck you. Illegal immigration. So I keep trying to sum up the reasons why I'm no longer a fan of the Democratic Party. Again, it's the wars. The number one thing is the wars, the forced vaccines, the lockdowns, the crises on the border, the distorted views of sex, race, skin color, massive inflation, and the massive censorship that we see everywhere. New ways to use AI, where AI is censoring people, and then you try to argue with AI, and it's not a person. It's just a hard line, right? And you get nowhere. So Miss Flippy Floppy, let's listen.
As for the sit-down interview tomorrow, when Kamala Harris will finally take part in a sit-down interview tomorrow, when she and running mate Tim Walz face questions from CNN's Dana Bash. The Harris campaign reportedly considering several interviewers, with Politico reporting, quote, Harris campaign staff have been asking reporters who...
Weavelgar, you reminded me of, also on my list, I should put obsession... put that on. Obsession with abortion. I'm not saying that's what you said. That's what came to mind. There is an obsession. Democrats have this obsession with abortion as if it's something that is almost like a human requirement.
They think she should talk to. Behind the scenes, TV producers from big-name anchors have been calling the campaign to pitch their talent as the person she has to do it with. Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor, and he joins me now. Joe, before we get into that Politico article, before we get into the substance, hold on a second. She can't do an interview unless her buddy Walz is sitting next to her? Doesn't this sound like this new Gen Z trend where, they go in for an interview with a job potential and they bring their mom?
Wow. Yeah, Todd, we're witnessing the most preposterous, absurd, amateur, laughable, farcical, asinine campaign we have ever witnessed in our lifetimes. I mean,
I disagree. She's winning. She is winning. Remember, Fox. She's winning. So it's not as asinine as you think, right? This kind of stay away from Trump. He's so dangerous. Is I don't know. It's resonating with people, and it's extremely dangerous, especially in foreign policy, where you sit back on your side of the fence and say how right you are, while pointing the finger over the fence at the other guy, saying how disastrous and terrible they are, right? Without ever opening the gate and having a conversation. Right? That's the party of the Democrats. That's the party. That is the behavior, the evidence of Kamala Harris, how she will govern.
And what's next? Is Kamala Harris going to send out bumper stickers that say, hey, vote for Harris Walz 2024, make America great and joyful again? I mean, this is the weather vane campaign who will say and do anything to get elected. Why can't Kamala Harris do this interview by herself? It is a great question, Tom.
Because she'll get smoked, because she's not interesting, because she's flat, because she'll start to laugh, and there's no depth, right? There's no intellectual depth, meaning that the intellectuals in the Democratic Party will look at her and say, this woman's an idiot, right? And the blacks will look and say, well, where's the black? I don't even see a black woman. I see some would-be Jamaican woman, half Indian. Right? I don't see no black. They're trying to tell me this woman's black. Right? There's nothing there for anybody, right? Other than, I love Joe. I love Joe. She loves Joe. That's what we know. She loves Joe all of a sudden.
Todd, why does she have to bring along her running mate with her? As for this interview, CNN, being CNN, they agreed, Todd, to allow Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to do a pre-taped interview.
It's pre-taped. The interview is pre-taped. This is bullshit. This is crap. This is a 60 minutes fluff piece by CNN. Right? That's what they're doing.
Why, one would ask, isn't the interview live? Oh, and another question, because this is a very good question.
The answer is Kamala Harris cannot handle live.
Question: why did Kamala Harris and Tim Walz choose CNN in this particular situation? Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, they have done multiple interviews recently live, because live means no editing afterwards. It means no manipulation, no omission of the content.
Thank you, Fox, for pointing that out.
But by doing a pre-taped interview, CNN can now package this interview, they can homogenize it, and they could also omit any Thousand Island word salads that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz serve up.
It's so easy. I don't know if anybody watching this has any editing experience. I mean, I do it all the time. Not in the live show, but outside of that. If you have a good piece of software, if you're savvy with Pro Tools, not Pro Tools, but I don't use any of those. I use just the commercial software, video software. But if you have the high end stuff, you can make anybody look like anybody you want to. You edit and chop and move stuff around until it looks like something that that favors the person that you're trying to favor. You're trying to spin it lightly. Right? It's very easy to do. And that's what you're going to get tomorrow night. You're not getting the real interview. You're not going to get the that's the debate. You're not going to get that confrontation at all.
So here's a request to CNN, to Dana Bash specifically, and it's a simple one. Release the entire interview on CNN.com, online, unedited. I don't think that should be too hard of an ask. Right here, Todd. I mean, because I want to see the whole thing. I don't want to see whatever they produce afterwards.
That's right.
As for why they picked Dana Bash and CNN, according to this Politico article, they asked a bunch of reporters, and I guess all those reporters said, hey, Dana Bash is your best bet, which is odd because, Joe, were you...
Why not try somebody else? Dana Bash and Jake Tapper already had their shot, so you gave CNN the shot. Give it to somebody else.
Were you asked? Because I wasn't.
Trump gives hundreds of videos, hundreds of interviews. Sometimes 5 and 10 a day. And so is Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who you're going to hear from in a second. They give interviews every day. Kamala Harris, no. We're not going to talk to those people. No. They'll make us look bad. because it's all about her. Oh, they won't make us look good. We want to look good so that we win and we have power, and they'll try to make us look bad, and they're for that Trump guy, that the fucking monster. Right?
And I didn't get a call from the Harris campaign as to who they should pick.
It's a bad way to govern, really. Kamala Harris is showing how bad she will be at governing by avoiding the American people. Your smile, your fucking fake smile only goes so far. Come out and address the people. Not just one, not just CNN. Everybody's all hyped about this one fucking joint interview where they play patty cake with Dana Bash. Come out and talk to Fox. Go sit down with Tucker Carlson, right? Talk to fucking Bill O'Reilly. Talk to anybody who will talk to you. Anybody with it. Go knock on Joe Rogan's door. I'm sure he'll let you in.
As for the
that got lost in the mail.
Yeah, it got lost in the mail.
If Kamala Harris pulled up to Joe Rogan's house with an Air Force Two, Joe Rogan would interview her. If Joe, can you come out and talk to Kamala for a minute? We're going to film it, and Joe is allowed to film it too. Right? You can bring your cameras with you. I think Joe Rogan would do it.
Substance itself, obviously, Harris, on the urging of these reporters, picked Bash for a reason. But do you trust Bash to go after Harris on the flip-flops on not just the border, but on now a multitude of issues? EVs, the economy, so many issues that she's flipped. Medicare for all, so many issues that she's flip-flopped on.
We don't even know what she stands for.
Right? I mean,
we have no idea what Kamala Harris really wants to do. We don't know if she's for single-payer health care or we really don't. We have no idea what her policy of immigration is, illegal immigration. We don't know. We just don't know.
Bash can do what the great...
All we know is that she'll continue to avoid it and not confront it while... it's like the dam is breaking, and she just lets the water flow. Well, just let it fall. Just let it flow. It'll stop soon. The dam broke. There's a crack in the dam. Just don't worry about it. The crack will go away someday.
Tim Russert used to do in these situations when he used to moderate Meet the Press and play back Kamala Harris's, Tim Walz's own words when it comes to both of their past statements on policy positions. So I want to hear about...
Tim Russert was the best. Tim Russert was the most amazing interviewer of my time, especially as a kid. He's the one who trained Chuck Todd, all those guys. He was before Chuck Todd. That was in the during the first run of Obama. He had a heart attack, that guy. I wonder if someone... Tim Russert, look him up. You know what? Tim Russert. I always imagined Tim Russert was murdered. I thought Tim Russert got murdered. That's what I thought. He took a heart attack at NBC. Right? He was hanging out. Where's the death? I bet this. I don't know why this guy comes up, but Tim Russert, he died of a heart attack right before the presidential campaign. If you remember his face, 2007. When did he die? He died in 2008. Right? He died right before Obama was elected. It's fucking crazy, right? And I don't know. Maybe he was challenging Obama. Maybe he was telling the truth. But I would definitely look to the body bag to find what the fuck happened to Tim Russert. I think they whacked him. I think he got whacked. Let's listen to these people. And markets are open. Let's listen to markets. Bing, bong, bong. Oh, God. Trump's stock is down again. Come on, baby. What do we got here? Looks like a red day. Red. I see red. Trump stock down 70 cents to 2027. Tesla down. The NASDAQ is down 74. S&P 500 down 6. And Dow Jones down 17. Rivian down 50 cents. Nothing but red on my screen. Everything's red right now. For the morning, it's open, 15 minutes open. Apple's up 91 cents. Google, the big watch is going to be NVIDIA. They're predicting that NVIDIA is going to blow away earnings again, which could drive this one up if they hit it. People are really, they love NVIDIA. They just, that's one of those stocks they just jump in and buy. But here's Trump's stock going down, down, down. Come on, guys, go the other fucking way, man. What's going on here? What's going on? You were 25 a week ago. Now you're 20. 2027. That's a hit right there. That's a big hit. That's a fucking hit.
People were shocked. I know a lot of people you know well were shocked when you endorsed Trump. I was not shocked because for all the areas where you disagree on specific issues, there's a consistent theme that I've noticed in both of your lives, which is you've both spent the majority of your life, well, in your case, your whole life, in the American ruling class, and both of you decided that it was corrupt and that you were going to say so out loud at great risk to both of you. And so it was probably just a matter of time before you aligned in some way. Is that how you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a bunch of realignments, political realignments, for about 4 or 5 throughout American history. And I think we're going through one right now with the Democrats.
I agree with this. Robert F. Kennedy he's pointing to that realignment that I had mentioned earlier in the show, where the parties are unrecognizable historically, what they stand for, what they mean, what they're about, right? The Democratic Party is not really the party of Obama or
Democratic Party. And with both political parties really changing in this very dramatic way. And you and I talked earlier about the transformation of the Republican Party into the party of environmentalism.
Yes.
And, where the Democratic Party has one environmental issue, which is this carbon orthodoxy,
right,
which ends up benefiting, the oil companies and BlackRock and Goldman Sachs with offshore wind and carbon capture, $100 billion carbon capture projects, which is part of just the strip mining of the middle class.
Yeah.
And it's the only issue you can talk
strip mining of the middle class. It's the only thing you could talk about with the Democratic Party.
About in the Democratic Party. I got into the environmental movement to do habitat protection, to do wildlife conservation,
exactly,
to get toxics out of our kids.
Amen.
And none of these are issues that the party itself, Democrats care about them, but the party itself doesn't. There's been these big, profound realignments, and it's not only on
big, profound realignments. That's what Robert F. Kennedy is bringing to the table. Very, very true.
That issue. It's really the domination of this corrupt merger of state and corporate power that is happening in Washington, D.C. now, where our democracy has really been subverted by the industries that have taken over the regulatory agencies, and they become transformed them into sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Or corporate profit taking. And basically wholly owned subsidiaries of the industries they're supposed to regulate. And
that's about the biggest foul you could have. The people that are polluting regulate themselves. That's how they do it, right? Oh yeah, we'll put together some money and we'll have a regulatory agency, and they'll do exactly what we tell them to do.
And the Democrats, for a variety of reasons, and I watched it happen over many, many years, have clung to this illusion of these democratic institutions that they're still democratic, and they have a belief we all have the capacity to judge ourselves on our intentions rather than our actions, right? And
the point right here is that the Kennedys of the 60s, right, and the 80s too, Ted Kennedy, who could forget Ted Kennedy taking on Jimmy Carter, right? But John F. Kennedy, who got shot in the fucking head, leaving, on a campaign trail, whatever, and then Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s father, who got shot in the head at a campaign rally, right? All politics, all politically, political fucking hits. I forgot what I was going to say.
So,
all right. Oh, what I was going to say is that the party of the Kennedys of the 60s and the 80s has no resemblance to the Democratic Party of today. Civil rights and equality for all. No, they're about the opposite. They're about giving rights to people that they perceive as marginalized. They're advancing people under the disguise of that no, we're just helping them. This is what affirmative action looks like. These are underprivileged people, and we're trying to equalize and equanimity and fucking, I can't even remember what they're calling it.
The Democratic Party judges itself. It sees itself. My friends who are Democrats see themselves as part of the good guys, the white hats, and
That's
that. It's kind of,
I stole a lot of what he's saying because it's really true.
and if they're like the good guys who are in Fort Apache, surrounded by the forces of barbarism that are about to storm the gate, and they're the.
This is so big. I can't emphasize how big this is. If people would just watch this interview, you got to realize where it's coming from. This is the Kennedys, the Kennedy dynasty. And a very, very smart guy who's connected all the way back to childhood to the Democratic Party. How he's telling you that it's not the same party anymore. How it's changed. How it's defected. How it's turned its back on the American people. How it's become corporatized. Listen, Democrats, if you're curious why people are defecting to Trump, here's your answer. Right? This is your guy.
The only way to keep it at bay is to elect a president who has dementia, and because you're voting for the apparatus, and you're not voting for or another president. Then to handpick a presidential candidate without any elections, to basically get rid of democracy in order to save it, and handpick a candidate who in 40 days now has not given a single interview on any media outlet.
Right.
And I think about when my uncle and father would think about that. They prided themselves on being able to go on debate. It was the centerpiece, the
clash.
whole, function of democracy was to anneal ideas in the furnace of debate. And
a clash of ideas. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the political process is it's a clash of ideas, and Kamala Harris is just refusing to do it. She's like, no, I'm talking now. I'll speak when I want to speak. Right? That's what you're going to get. Okay, because that's what it is.
This is the world's first reusable cotton swab.
How she acts now is how she will govern. That's what I'm saying.
It can remove up to 10 times more earwax.
All of our internal polling showed from the outset that if I stayed in the Democratic Party, I was going to get Vice President Harris elected. 57 to 60%, and even more, sometimes up to 66% of my voters, my followers said that if I withdrew from the election, they were going to vote for Trump. That's pretty big. 66% of 5% is it's like 2 or 3% is going to go to Trump from Robert F. Kennedy. And we don't really know the polling on Robert F. Kennedy. And again, he wasn't really he wasn't very well known until now. He's way more well known now. Ironic, by the way, Tucker, because President Trump and the RNC did nothing to prevent me from being on the ballots. They didn't have a big, major
I'm going to kill it here. We're already we're out of time. But that is the interview. I dropped the link in there for the R.F. Kennedy Tucker Carlson interview. Really, really good. They talk about the whole fucking. I'll talk about that another time. Ding, ding, ding. All right. So I'll see you guys. I'll be here tomorrow. And thank you all for joining me. And it's a crazy cycle, crazy election cycle. Lots of fun. Don't get too carried away with it. The election isn't for another 60 days or 75 days or whatever it is, November. And we'll continue to check the polling and see if the polling changes at all as Kamala Harris's strategy crumbles. Marcus Conte reporting.